Hello and welcome to the core functionality webinar of OpenLM. First, I want to talk about a few things. First, I want to talk about what brings you here. What is it exactly that you're looking for? So let me throw a few guesses around. You probably want a system, a cohesive system that will enable you to manage your whole system, your whole licensing management system, see all your license managers in one place, avoid being audited by different license vendors, and maybe even save a few bucks on the side. Maybe discover a few license managers that you didn't know you had, maybe organize it a little better. So let's talk about the benefits of OpenLM and how it can help you achieve that which you're looking for. So first of all, I'm gonna share my screen one moment. Now here. So as I started saying, OpenLM allows you to see a full overview of your system. So you'll be able to know exactly what's going on with each part and each license manager of your system and organization. So besides that, OpenLM can give you statistical information and all the reports that you need to give out to management, to give out to the vendor and avoid being audited, or maybe just make your life easier when being audited. And you'll also be able to see some predictions of how many licenses you actually need. Now, most reports that you know of, they probably tell you just an approximation of what you have and what's the status. But OpenLM actually gives you a concrete number of what you need. So let me take you through the OpenLM core product. Now, we'll be having this webinar for about 30 minutes. I'm going to dedicate 20 minutes to showing you the system, talking about OpenLM, and I'm going to leave like 10 minutes for us to discuss and have a short Q&A session about everything you've just seen, or if you have any questions. So first of all, OpenLM, as I said, shows you a full overview of your system. So take this screen, for example, the license server report. It shows you, it's a live report, and it shows you what's going on right now. So it shows me all my license servers. It shows the quantity of licenses within each one and how many are used. If I click on the quantity, I see which licenses I have, meaning which features, and who is actually using, and how many licenses, when they are expired, and so on. If I click here, I'll be able to see all the people using that you're currently using. So I see that Ali and Scott and James from the sales team of USA Marketing China, I see they're all working right now. I can see from which workstation, when they started, their duration, pretty much everything that you'd want to know about the session of the user. Now, you see here like 19 different servers, but it can grow to cover your whole system. This is a client database. So you see that we have like 203 different license servers. Now these are RLM, FlexLM, DSLS, LMX. We have 25 different license manager types that we monitor. So OpenLM monitors all usage coming from those license managers. So it will help you see all your license managers and all your system in one place, and it can even discover new license servers that you didn't know you have. Let's say that you install OpenLM system. You see on a license server that you intended to get an X license server, but it found another one. It found another license manager. And this license manager might have been filled with licenses way back, but now it's not even used. But it's still being bought. Every purchase, you think, okay, what do I need? This is what I bought. I probably need that amount. So you buy just about the same, but some licenses even get automatically generated by the vendor. So long finished projects can get more and more licenses over time without anybody using them. So OpenLM can also tell you that. Now, besides showing you what's going on right now, who is using, what they're using, what you have, how many of what you have, besides showing you all that, OpenLM can show you statistical information, exactly the statistical information that you're looking for. For example, we got this report, which shows the license usage, meaning that you got on the top here, you got the quantity of licenses, in this case 70, and on the bottom here, you can see the license usage, meaning the concurrent license usage. So what do you understand from this? Well, you can see that right about here, there was pretty much too many licenses. It was very underused, but as time passed, you see there's more and more usage, and it's actually getting to the point where it's maxing out right here. Now, once it gets maxed out, people start getting denied, and licenses are fully utilized, and no licenses are left for other engineers. So engineers just sit on their hands trying to get a license. So OpenLM allows you to know how far you are from maxing it out, and you can also see it as a heat map and know when you're maxing it out. So just let me log back in. You can also see a heat map, as you see right here, for the entire week, for the entire day, for the entire month or year, whatever you choose your aggregation. So it shows you that during the week, we have a lot of usage. Between 7 a.m. to 4, we have a lot of usage. We see it's almost maxed out. It's almost ready here. But on the weekends and at night, we see that it's pretty much underused, not used. We see there's a lot of probably reserved licenses right here, but not really used to the max. So we said that once the license right here gets denied, meaning that it gets maxed out, so the user, the 71st user that tries to get a license gets denied from getting a license. So OpenLM also reads those denials and shows it in the denials report, which allows you to see exactly who got denied, and you can see it as a table as well and see who, when, and all the details that you need. And you can aggregate it however you'd like. So you've seen it by group. Now you can see it by hour of day. For example, I see 1 o'clock is the most denied hour. I can do it by feature, by user, by server, whatever I choose. Now, OpenLM is also able to show you true denials. Now, true denial, let's say that a user tries to get a license, is denied from the first server, but gets a license from another server. So the first denial, is that something you want to see? No, because you did get the license. So you're able to filter it out to show true denials only. Now, of course, that you can get it as a pie chart, line chart, column chart, whatever you choose. And of course, that you can download the table both in the license usage and denials and all the reports. Now, this is great. This shows you, as we've said, what's going on right now with your system, how far you are from actually maxing out your licenses most of the time during the year, during the month, whatever you choose. What happens after you've maxed out your licenses, meaning that users are getting denied. You can see how many denials you have, but none of this actually tells you how many licenses do you need? Well, I understand that here it was sometimes underused, sometimes fully used. I had a few denials right here, but I had almost 40 denials. Do I need 40 more licenses for this? Well, no. In order to know that, we can see the license utilization report. Now, this shows you exactly how many licenses you need, and you can even set the quality that you want to allow your users to use licenses. Let me explain. First, let's get to the basic. What is this graph? First of all, it shows you the amount of time spent on each usage level, meaning that one license used, only one license used from the pool was like 84% of the times, but 33 licenses pulled at the same time was like 8% of the time. Now, why is that good? What can we tell from that? Well, it lets us assign a quality of service. Quality of service means the quality of your service to your engineers, to your application users. So a 95 quality of service means that 95% of the times that they will try to get a license, they will get it. 5% of the times they will get denied, like once 5 times out of 100, then they will get denied. So this shows me the QoS line, the quality of service line. The quality of service line is showing me that I need exactly 45 licenses. Now let's say that I'm okay with 90%, meaning 10% of the times they get denied, 90% of the times they get the license. Well, then I need only 30 licenses. As you can see, I have 70 licenses here and I have a huge reduction. It's more than half of the licenses I have for this feature. And I don't need to tell you that some licenses cost up to $10,000 a license, a floating license. So this way you can know exactly what you need. Now, how does this empower you? This empowers you, first of all, when confronting your organization internally. When someone comes up to you, Bob from designing, comes to you and he says, well, I have 10 more people on my team now. I need 10 more licenses. So you can check out the report and say, hey, Bob, I know your users, I know their usage. You don't need 10 licenses, you only need 3 licenses. So I'll give you 3 licenses. Or you can get empowered when confronting the vendor itself. So when you go up to the vendor and you want to renew your licensing policy and you want to purchase more licenses maybe. So usually you go with a set of data that you have that you got yourself, and the vendor can tell you, well, you need maybe 70, you need 65. He can tell you how much you need because you're not informed. If you are informed and you know that you need 30 licenses for this feature, so next year, when you renew licenses, renew your policy, you can come up to the vendor and tell him, well, I need 30 licenses. Maybe I'll buy like 3 more just to be safe on the safe side, but I need 30 licenses. That's it. Now, if we take a look at it from another perspective, if this shows us how many licenses we actually need, then this report shows us how many licenses we actually don't need. Now, it sounds crazy, but let me explain. If this shows you what you have and it reduces the amount of what you have and tells you what that reduction was, tells you exactly what you need, then here you can take a look at this report and say, well, Navisworks was never used. So if this was never used and that was never used and this was never used, so you'd know that you have a lot of licenses that next year you don't need to buy. you can come up to the vendor and tell him, well, this year I want to buy a smaller package because I bought your Autodesk AutoCAD package and it had Navisworks inside, and nobody in my organization is actually using Navisworks, so I don't want to buy it again. So you can buy a smaller package, a smaller bundle, which costs less, or maybe you see that you're only using one feature out of the package, so you can just buy the feature. You don't need to buy the full package. So this gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of discovery capabilities, and allows you to understand exactly what you're using, how much you need of it, and what you're not using. So it gives you, as you've seen, a complete picture of past, present, and future. You got the predictions, you got your statistical information, and you got your current operational information of your license servers. Now, these are the reports that you've just seen are the big four, I like to call them, the big five, let's say, because this is not a report, but the main reports of OpenLM, which are basically used by anyone. OpenLM has many more reports. I'm not going to go over them right now because I don't want to tire you. It's a lot of reports. They all mean different things. I just took the major ones that really convey the message of what is OpenLM. So I have a few minutes left. I just want to show you one more thing. OpenLM has many more extensions, but the core product of OpenLM is these reports, the ability to remotely control the broker, for example, the license manager, sorry. For example, I can start, stop, reread, download files from the license manager. It gives me a small amount of management and a lot of monitoring and reporting capabilities. And this is in the core product of OpenLM. This is out of the box. This is what it does. But let's say that you want more. So OpenLM also has extensions that allows you to fully integrate OpenLM into your system. So I just want to quickly go over them just for you to know that they exist, but they're not a part of this webinar. They're a part of the extensions webinar. So you probably got Active Directory. So OpenLM interfaces with the Active Directory, gets your users, and is able to put them in groups by criteria that you define. Those users can log in to OpenLM either using a password and a username and password that they have in their Active Directory, or password that you create from them from the OpenLM interface, or they can even use Windows authentication to authenticate and enter the OpenLM interface. Now, the OpenLM interface can be divided so different people see different things in OpenLM. For example, management, you can set management roles, so they will only be able to see certain reports that they need. You can set end user roles where they can only see the server that they need. They don't see any other servers. You can set up an admin role where you can see everything. Now, there are many, many more, such as notifications. For example, you can get notified when a license is about to be expired, when someone is using for too long. OpenLM also tracks the idle time of sessions, so you'd know who is actually using the application and who is just, I don't know, on Facebook or maybe in a meeting or something. So you'd know no one is using the application, and you can retract back the license remotely. And it can also enable you to track all types of licenses. Now, we've talked about mainly floating licenses, as you've seen in all the reports. These were floating licenses we're talking about, but OpenLM also is able to monitor any type of license, named licenses, node lock licenses, whatever. Now, the floating license solution is agentless. You only need you don't have to put an agent, but the named licenses, of course, they have an agent. But in the core product of OpenLM, it's totally out of the box, gives you all the reporting that you need. You can go online, install our evaluation version. You get instantly get a 30-day trial. Automatically, you get a 30-day trial, and you can start collecting data, go over it, and see what you want. If you want it, great. If not, then not. So this is just about it. I don't want to overload you with reports or information. Now I want to dedicate a few minutes for you guys. You can ask questions. I'm gonna unmute you. You can either ask using your microphone, or you can ask using the chat box. The GoToWebinar has a chat box. You can just write your question there. If you don't want to be unmuted, you can mute yourself, no problem. But go ahead if you have any questions. So if you have any questions regarding what you've just seen, go ahead, it's your time. Okay, we got a question right here. Where do I find the licenses not in use report? Oh, Philip Nelson, hey. The licenses not in use report, you go to Start, Management, Licenses not in use. Then you get this report. You can filter the server if you want and all the features, but you can just leave it unfiltered and it will give you everything in your system, and you'll be able to see the amount of licenses that were never actually used. You can set this to all the time that you have and you can see what was never used. It's not a new report. We've had that for quite a while now. But it's been hiding under the management right here, right above the license utilization. I have a question from John. Can you set priorities on users by functions and remove lower level users from the application? Now, I'm not sure what you mean by priorities. If you can elaborate, that will really help me. Meanwhile, I'm going to skip to the next question. Please elaborate. I would be happy to answer. How do connectors work? Are service management accounts required for each product? The service management account that you're talking about means that you're referring to a user on a VM to run the OpenLM server, to run the OpenLM system, correct? So let me explain a little bit about how the OpenLM is configured. So we got first the OpenLM server, and the OpenLM server itself, is on a dedicated machine. We have the OpenLM broker that's installed on the license servers. So the license server has the broker, it gives data to the broker sends the data to the OpenLM server, and in order to see the interface and control everything, you would need to access the OpenLM server itself, the machine of the OpenLM server. And this can be done simply by using a browser. So you see my link here, I just linked to the machine, to this port, to EasyAdmin, and that's it. I get to the interface. So this can be done by any machine connected to OpenLM server, to the server itself. Okay, I mean, John Fox is elaborating. I mean, can you control the user gaining access to the engineering application? Yes, you can. We have the OpenLM App Manager, which allows you to prevent usage of users depending on criteria that you define. So let me quickly show you. I have it all set up here. So I have the App Manager. I'm tracking many different types of applications. But let's talk about this one, Autodesk. So I have the consumption rules right here. I have many different rules. I'm not going to go over them right now. I just want to demonstrate what it does. So I set a rule here that if the application is Autodesk and it's version 2017 and it's between this time and this time, and I can even set if it's this username, if it's this group of users, if it's this workstation, I can define if I want, then deny usage, deny or allow, of course. So I said deny usage. And now when I try to pull the license of AutoCAD right here, now this is a workstation. I try to pull a license of AutoCAD, I double click, and I get denied right here. Why? Access denied due to the normal USA working hours rule, which is a rule I said here, normal USA working hours rule. Now if I allow it, then it will allow me to use it. So if you set different rules to different groups of users or to different specific users, then you can indeed allow them or deny them from accessing certain applications, from accessing certain versions of applications, from accessing them at a certain time span, for example, outside their time zone, outside their working hours, and so on. So this gives you a lot of managerial capabilities, and it answers exactly answers your need, I think. Oh, you're most welcome. By the way, if you want to test out the App Manager, if you have the OpenLM Core product and you are a client and you want to test it out, you can get it for an evaluation period. No problem. I have a question from Wai Ming. You have Adobe product on the list. Does this connect to Adobe Cloud? This Adobe that you see here, I have Photoshop right here. It's also a monitored application, just like any other floating license or named license or whatever. It also monitors the usage of Photoshop. Now, it can monitor pretty much any application with a process. Meaning that if you're accessing Photoshop, you have Photoshop installed on your machine, you have Photoshop exe that runs Photoshop, then we can prevent it, we can track it, we can limit it with the amount of licenses. So if it goes over a certain limit, then no more licenses will be issued. This can be done on any type of application. So if the Photoshop right here that you're talking about, it has a process running on the end user workstation and they open the application, then yeah, we can track it, no problem. Following from what you said, can you differentiate between Office 365 and Outlook EXE? If they have different processes running on the end user workstation, or if they are using different exe files, different exe files, then yeah, we can differentiate between the two and say that it's Outlook or it's something else. Apart from the broker on each license server, what else is needed on the network? You need to install the OpenLM server and the OpenLM broker on the license servers. That's it. All the brokers will communicate to one OpenLM server, and that's it. If you would like extended functionalities, such as tracking idle times of applications, remotely closing applications, and so on, then you'd need to install the OpenLM agent on the workstations. But as if you want the core product of OpenLM, you simply need the brokers on the license managers and one OpenLM server in a central place. John is asking about agents. Now, if you would like to use the app manager, then yes, it uses an agent installed on the end user workstation because it's an extended functionality. And if you're using extended functionality, then you probably will be using the OpenLM agent. Now, the OpenLM agent is installed on the end user workstations, but they don't have to know that they have it. They don't have to know that you installed it. They can simply be monitored remotely and have applications close remotely. You don't have to install all the agents specifically on each machine. You can just roll it out silently to all the connected machines. So all the machines that are connected to the license servers will have that pushed to their machine and remotely installed. At sorry about that. At the license usage report, there are switches for ignoring weekends and working hours. In a very old version, that switches were available in the Windows license activity too. When will we get that feature again? In the window for license activity, you say. Let's go there for a moment. So yeah, it's removed. We only include current activity. Now, this is actually a good point. I will raise that point with our project manager, maybe write it down as a feature request. That's a very good point. Thank you, Martin. Wai Ming is asking, so is there a connector to Office 365 which can log usage of each app within, meaning Skype, Outlook, Word? There is no connector to Office 365. If Office 365 does not run Skype, Outlook, Word, and all that, all those applications, if it does not run it on the end user workstation but works on some kind of cloud, then we'll not be able to track that. Only if Skype, Outlook, Word, if they had a process running on the end user workstation. I must say, guys, these are very good questions. Keep them coming if you have them. You're most welcome, Wai-Ming. Okay, guys. Oh, I have another question here. One moment. Have you a process flow document to set up a new customer? How many different license managers can be monitored on one network? So I'll start with the first. In order to install OpenLM, first of all, you can go to our website at www.openlm.com. There, you can go to our knowledge base. But what I suggest is send an email to support@openlm.com. Just ask for new user documentation. Just ask for it. We'll give you all the documentations, videos, everything. Because if I show it to you right now, then you probably remember it or not remember it. I don't know. Maybe you won't get all the links that I can give you. So I suggest just send an email to support@openlm.com. We will be happy to, first of all, help you with the installation process itself. Just give us a call. We even have a chat box in the OpenLM website. You can call up on chat and we can set up a meeting, install a proof of concept on your system. You can take it from there and configure everything. Configuration is very easy, very simple. But again, if you want just the configuration documentation for it, then simply send us an email. We'll be happy to send you everything, including videos, tutorials, just about everything. How many different license managers can be monitored on one network? So it's only limited by your license. So right about here, we have that the license. We have the database of the client, which has 203 different license servers. Now, we have clients that are close to 1,000 license servers. It's pretty much endless. It's depending on what your system can hold. Of course, that more servers means more traffic, means that you need a better CPU, a better memory, and so on. But if you ask, is there a limit? No limit. Different license managers, not servers. Okay, I'm sorry. The OpenLM system monitors 25 different license managers. So let me take you there. If we go to the OpenLM website and we go to Solutions, License Managers, you'd see the full list of license managers that OpenLM supports. So we got all the market leaders. We got FlexLM, RMS, RLM, LMX, DSLS, Loom, MathLM, BetaLM, SolidWorks, EPDM, SPLM, just about everything. Everything that's strong in the market right now. Oh, and by the way, if you want to quickly get to us and chat with us, if you can see my screen right here, Then this button, Chat with the Sales Engineer, also gets you to the support chat. You can just call us up on chat. We are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 6 days a week, sorry. Just go ahead, call us when you need us. Is your demo hosted on AWS? The demo is not hosted. We do have, if you're asking if you can get a demo to work with, to just play around, indeed we can issue you such a demo system, so you can just access using the internet. But my demo system that you've seen right here is a local demo system. It's installed on one of our servers in the office, and it pretty much is a closed system. But we also have the OpenLM cloud configuration, meaning that you can get everything that you've just seen, all the OpenLM core product, and have it managed by us, meaning that we just give you a link, username, password, and that's it. You can access it from anywhere in the world. You just go online. It's a secure connection. You just access your details from anywhere in the world, from any device. It's totally hosted. It's hosted on the cloud. So we also have that solution, yes. If you want, you can send an email to support@openlm.com, and we can send you a link to a demo which you can just play around with. Where is the data, customer data hosted? Now, if it's an on-premise, then it's hosted on your site. If you install OpenLM server on your site, it's stored on your site, on your database. If you want the OpenLM cloud solution, then it's stored in secure servers in Israel. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, guys, if no one has any more questions, I would thank you very much for joining me on this webinar. I hope it was informative. I hope you understood a bit about OpenLM, about what we do, and the different benefits of OpenLM. If you have any more questions, then you can send an email to openlm.com, support@openlm.com, sorry, or just click on the chat and get to us. Okay, so thank you guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. You're welcome. Bye, Martin. You're welcome, Wai Ming. I hope to see you in our ticketing system. We'll be happy to help you.